Hey guys, my name is Matsumiyo, and welcome to your episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming-related questions, and then I will give my humble opinion on them. To get the formalities out of the way real quick, if you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below, or by sending me a Facebook or Twitter message. The first question for today is, what are your thoughts on the big Ela nerf coming and the 2 new operators? Well, first of all, I'm really excited about the Ela nerf. Essentially what Ubisoft is doing is that they're once again increasing the recoil of her primary weapon, but from the sounds of it, this is going to be a significant increase into that recoil. They stated that this is no longer going to be a weapon that's effective at long range or even at a medium distance. If you're not using this up close and personal, the weapon is going to run into some problems because of that recoil. On top of that, they're also going to be reducing the damage per shot. What it sounds like is that they're kind of turning this into something that's similar to the P90. The P90 has a large mag size, it has a high RPM, but of course it doesn't hit very hard and also has a lot of recoil along with it. Now, the P90 does have the advantage that it does have an ACOG scope, but it's only available to 3 armored operators. But of course, the Scorpion has a higher RPM, and so that's kind of the trade-off there. If all of that wasn't enough, though, they're also removing the impact nades from her, and she's now going to have access to the very desirable deployable shield. I don't know about you guys, but I have been waiting for this nerf. Fighting Ela every single time on offense is getting exhausting, and while it's difficult to tell how much this is going to reduce her pick rate, I think it's going to get the job done. As for our 2 new operators, we now know exactly what they do. First of all, we now know that Finka's special ability is that she can activate her gadget to give her entire team a global buff for 20 seconds that she can activate twice a round. This buff will reduce the aim down sight of every single one of your offensive operators. It will reduce recoil significantly. They even gave an example, which you guys are seeing right now. It significantly reduces that recoil, and it will give everyone on your team a 20 health HP boost. It doesn't last forever. As soon as that 20 seconds goes away, you lose that HP bonus. On top of that, this will also make you more resilient to Ela mines, which is a further nerf to Ela. You won't be flashed as much if you use a flashbang, and you'll move faster through barbed wire. The final key component is that if someone is in the down but not out stage and you activate her gadget, it will also revive them no matter where they are on the map. In general, this seems like a crazy buff. Now, thankfully, a lot of people were thinking that this was also going to increase your movement speed. That is not the case. So we're not going to have a 4-speed Ashe on our hands. Thankfully, we're not going to have that. But overall, this is a nice global buff for everyone on offense. If you're pushing the objective, you got 20 seconds, essentially 40 seconds if you time this properly, 40 seconds of reduced recoil, faster ADS, and increased health. It's only 20 HP, but a lot of times rounds will be won or lost based off of that 20 HP, so that can absolutely win you those games. Now, she does come with some significant drawbacks and counters though, and that comes in the form of Pulse, Smoke, Lesion, and Echo. Pulse, for example, when the buff is activated, will be able to see you further through walls, making it easier for him to track you. Smoke, probably one of the biggest ones, when you do have the buff on, the way that they describe it is that your operators are breathing faster, so you take more damage in his smoke, and it's a significant amount of damage. If you're in there for just a couple of seconds, you're gonna drop, like it is that quickly. So if you're pushing the objective at the very end, assuming that you can just activate her gadget and then just bum rush the objective and take everyone down, you might be in for a rude awakening if they do have a smoke. The Lesion goo mines will be able to just completely neutralize that buff if they step on it. And then finally, Echo, if he concusses you, will also remove that buff. And so overall, I'm really happy with the design of Finka. Going into it, it sounded like she might be a little bit too good. A global buff for everyone seems incredibly powerful, but the fact that there are these direct counters and the fact that it's also a situational gadget and you have to coordinate with your team, I think is going to not only make for some interesting decisions, but also some really cool dynamics between offense and defense. Now, as for Lion though, that's where things get a little crazy. So the way that his gadget works is that he has an aerial drone which he can activate 3 times in a match. When he activates it, it goes on a countdown where once the countdown reaches 0, if any enemy on the defensive team moves whatsoever for a short period of time, they're going to be spotted. Now, this isn't just like a cav spot where you see a little icon above their head. It takes it to the next level where you literally see a red outline of the enemy team. Now, my initial reaction to this is, okay, that seems pretty worthless. I mean, sure, yes, if you move while that thing is activated, you're gonna notify the enemy of your position, but just stand still. Like, yes, for the first couple of weeks, people are gonna have to get adjusted to Lion, just like any new operator. There is going to be that learning curve, but after a while, people are gonna realize, oh, the countdown's going down, I just have to stand still for 3 seconds, and I'm good to go. I don't have to worry about it anymore. On the other hand, though, this gadget could be incredibly powerful. The first example that I could think of is if offense is able to plant the diffuser, of course defense has to retake said diffuser. All Lion has to do at that point is use his gadgets. Defense has to push forward, they have to retake the objective, and as soon as they do, everyone on offense is gonna know exactly where they are, and it's gonna be very easy to take them down and make it almost impossible for them to retake that objective. That's gonna be really strong. Another example that I could think of is that if offense is playing aggressively, they're charging at the objective, if he activates his gadget, defense probably isn't even gonna notice that timer ticking down. A lot of things are happening around them. And if they need to stand still, that also is going to leave them vulnerable. Like if they're not in that prime spot just to simply camp, that's also going to leave them exposed. So they have to run the risk. Do I stand still out in the open while offense is charging on in? Or do I move, try to find a more secure location? But of course, that is going to spot my exact location. That could also be very strong. One big weakness of Lion, though, is that it could give your team a false sense of security when he uses his gadget. I should mention that the outline isn't just for Lion. Everyone on your team is able to see those outlines if a defender moves. Now, I realize that sounds game-breaking, but if you have someone on defense coordinating with someone else, one guy wiggles around, everyone on offense thinks that the coast is clear, they get baited to try to take that guy out, and then a guy in the wing, with a shotgun, as soon as you think the coast is clear, because you only see that one guy moving, he blasts you as soon as you enter into the room. And so that could be not only just a great way to counter Lion, but also turn the tables and put it into your favor. And so just in general, I'm really curious to see how much Lion is going to change Rainbow Six Siege. A part of me thinks that he might be insignificant once people start to learn to work around his gadget, but another part of me is worried that he's going to be one of the more annoying operators to fight against, and also just incredibly powerful. And so all in all, I'm liking what I'm seeing from this DLC. I love the fact that Ela is going to get a nerf. It's kind of hard to tell how these operators are going to be changing up the game. I'm loving Finka. Not so sure on Lion, but I know for a fact that these guys are going to be changing things up, making the game a lot more refreshing, and that is something that I always love to see with new content. The next question comes from Rare and Dragonfly, and it is, the recruit should be added to the operator menu for these reasons. 1, as of currently, you can't view your stats for recruit. 2, recruit can't set his loadout before entering a match, not giving as much preparation time. And 3, recruit should have access to skins and charms. Well, I will agree with you that recruit should absolutely be added to the main menu. Not just because you should be able to view your stats, I think that's really important, but mainly just so you can change out your loadouts. I don't understand why Ubisoft has made it so complex to play as this character when you're actually in the game. I don't know about you guys, but every single time I play as this character, I have no idea what faction I need to select, not only to have a certain armor type, because recruit's armor, I believe, changes depending on what faction you're playing on, but also what weapons. Now, as for being able to customize your cosmetic items as recruit, though, I don't feel like that is necessary. I might be contradicting myself a little bit here, but I don't think that Ubisoft should incentivize people to play as recruits. Yes, I think it's important that people have the right loadout when they play as this character, which is the reasons why I said everything that I said before, but I don't think we want to have recruit mains on our hands. No, I don't think that people are all of a sudden going to start to play recruit only because you could have cosmetic items, but you know that that would be more of an appealing factor to play as that character. You do not want to have recruit on your team if you can help it. If you're brand new, he can get you out of a pinch. If you don't have all of the operators, everyone picked everyone else, you don't have anyone else to choose from, then recruit, if you want a certain weapon, can be the right choice for you. But if you have more than 5 operators, you're probably going to want to play as someone else. They bring a lot more to the table. And so while I don't think all of a sudden a lot of people are going to flock towards recruit because they can have all of their skins on all of those weapons, I do know that some people would be more enticed to play as that character, and that is something that I think that Ubisoft wants to avoid in the long run. And so all in all, I really like that idea, except for that final points. The next question comes from Shay, and it is, what do you think about an operator that can cut off all communication? Essentially a mute 2.0 that disables communication, no chat, no pings, no teammate drone/cam usage, no pings or icons. This could last 15 seconds or throughout the round. Would need substantial effort on Xbox/PlayStation part to develop drop the mic communication, but this would be a great operator that could buff solo players and used in Pro League as the most effective operators. So that would be incredibly powerful. If you were able to cut off all communication, especially the voice comms, if you are a 5-man squad and you could no longer communicate and make callouts to your team, even if it was just for like 15, 30 seconds or something like that, that could mean the difference between your team winning and losing. The thing is, though, is that this would only be a hindrance to people that are using the in-game chats. Now, personally, I play on PC, and a lot of times I'm going against people that are using third-party software. They're using stuff like Discord, Skype, or TeamSpeak. If they're using those, this would have absolutely no effect on them whatsoever. This would probably have the biggest impact on people that are solo queuing. They're playing with just a bunch of randoms. Communication is already really bad in those situations. You put this guy on top of it, it's just going to be non-existent at that point. And so while I really like this concept conceptually, this entire game revolves around communication, and if you were able to eliminate that for a short period of time, like that could add in a really cool dynamic and give you that edge, but because of this third-party software, I just don't think it's gonna have the desired effect that you're looking for. Even people on Xbox and PlayStation, if they were able to make this work, I have a feeling would just start using Discord or Skype and stuff to that nature to work around it, because it is that large of a hindrance. And so in a perfect world, if Ubisoft was able to force everyone to use the in-game chat, then yeah. But of course, because that's not possible, I would be very surprised if Ubisoft introduced someone like this into Rainbow Six Siege. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's episode of Sunday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about what we discussed in today's video. Are you looking forward to the new operators? Are you excited about their gadgets? Are you a little bit worried? Let me know down below. As always, if you'd like to submit your own question for an upcoming episode, you can also leave a comment or by sending me a Facebook or Twitter message. But until tomorrow, guys, have a good one and take it easy.